I'm going to start with the game that I'm going to be at, Michigan at Maryland. So we're following Michigan around, Harbaugh Watch 2.0. What are we going to get on Friday? What are we going to get with this hearing? Is Jim Harbaugh going to be on the field? And will it matter? We don't know. It didn't matter last Saturday. It certainly didn't when they beat Penn State. Michigan is a 19.5-point favorite on the road against Maryland. Now, before I get into this game, let's just acknowledge the fact that this game is both a hangover game and a look-ahead game. It is the sandwich game. When we looked at the schedule, we thought Maryland was going to be a little bit better. Remember, they've lost a few games. They had a 4-game losing streak after starting 5-0. But we thought this was going to be a real gauntlet at the end for Michigan, and it's turned into a sandwich, okay? So here we go with the middle of the two biggies. They beat Penn State in a highly emotional game. I mean, look at Sharon Moore after the game. Highly emotional game. That team was supercharged after that win on the road in Happy Valley against Penn State. And rightly so for what they were, dealing with. And it's not that they're the victim in this situation. It's just the fact that was a lot of adversity for that team, in particular the players to face during the course of that week. Then you come back and you play Maryland, but you still have the look ahead to Ohio State. I mean, that is a monster game with everything going on now that you're looking at in college football and the sign stealing saga. And is Harbaugh going to be on the field? Is he not going to be on the field? That game next week looks to just be as big and as interesting as a Michigan-Ohio State game can possibly get. And we've seen these teams play undefeated, as undefeateds. We saw it last year, and yet this game this year seems like it's going to dwarf that because of all of the drama surrounding that game. So, Michigan travels to Maryland. They go on the road in conference play in November. They don't get to play Georgia State. They don't get to play an FCS opponent. They've got to go play Maryland. And they play them in this sandwich game. Do we see a letdown? Maybe. The mark of a great team would be to not have a letdown. There hasn't been a more consistent team or a more dominant team during the course of this season than Michigan. If you look at the strength of schedule numbers now, after they've played Penn State, their strength of schedule is actually better than even Georgia. They've been more consistent than Georgia. Will that continue? We shall see. Coming off that first big test, they've now won 22 straight games in Big Ten competition. Now they travel to face Maryland. Like I said, Maryland snapped their 4-game losing streak last week. They beat Nebraska on the road. They beat them 13-10. Maryland forced 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions in that game. So the defense is going to be playing confident. Now, can they expect that Michigan's going to just sit there and throw the ball around? Well, they don't have to. They might because they can, but they don't have to. Evidence the 32 straight runs against Penn State, right? Michigan ran for 227 yards against the Nittany Lions, and that defense came in with the number 2 ranked rushing defense in America. In fact, if you strip out sacks, because remember, sack numbers count against rush numbers in college football, which we need to change. But altogether, I digress. Michigan ran for 227 against what, if you strip out sacks, was the number 1 rush defense in all of college football. So they didn't do it against nobody, right? 32 straight runs against what you could argue was the best run defense in college football. And it was a rugged 227 yards. Yeah, they broke off a couple of nice explosive runs, but man, that was a fist fight in there. You've got to assume at least that Michigan's going to be able to run the ball against Maryland. You've got to assume that. They were able to do that a year ago, and yet Maryland played them very close. It was actually one of the closest games that they played last year. No one remembers this, but Michigan wound up winning that game 34-27, and Maryland had a few chances late to make that much more interesting. Again, it comes down to just the look-ahead aspect. If Michigan is focused and if they're right and if they want to beat Maryland, then they'll beat Maryland, right? Like that's how good they are. They're one of the best teams in the country. We all know that. Maryland doesn't have enough to beat Michigan. However, if Michigan's not playing well, Taulia Tagovailoa, he can throw it around. This is a team that is capable. They were 5-0. They played Ohio State incredibly well in the first half. Mike Locksley has done a really nice job with the Terps. You know, you look at that 4-game losing streak, and it was like Ohio State, There was a Penn State in there, and then there were a couple of just really close games. Well, that's what you get in the middle of the conference. So if Michigan's not right, if there's any hangover, then they're going to be in a ball game. If there's any look ahead, they're going to be in a ball game. And if there's a combination of both, then it could get interesting. I just keep being reminded, I believe it was 2018. It was Urban's last year. Remember that really good Ohio State team went and barely survived at Maryland in this exact week right before they were about to play Michigan. So something to watch there. Hangover and look ahead. Harbaugh watch that Friday hearing is going to be interesting, to say the least. Will he be on the field? Don't know. I think that hearing is probably a lot more interesting as it relates to the game next week, and more on that next week. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.